Good evening and welcome to Bahrain International's Daily Show. We have a great episode waiting for you that you won't want to miss, featuring our special guests. Before I leave you with our segments, I would like to ask you all to join on our social media accounts shown below for further information and contact details. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Pollution is the cause of many diseases. Many of us are unaware of its risks to the kidneys, especially. To talk more about this topic with us in the studio is Dr. Abdulrahman Saleh Bouali, Senior Consultant in Nephrology and Head of Internal Medicine. Hello, Doctor, and welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. Doctor, in the beginning, can you tell us about how pollution in general affects a person's kidneys?
Sure. To be honest, this is not my real specialty, but because this topic made me really interested in it 3 months ago, when I read an article regarding the pollution and chronic kidney disease. And I was really interested in that article, and I was surprised to see that the pollution was the common cause of kidney disease in China, which we never heard about it, especially a disease called membranous glomerulonephritis, and that was related to pollution. Since then, I forgot about it till I think yesterday when one of your, I think his name Salim, he was a nice man who spoke to me, and he said, I would like you to talk about it. I said, you better host a public, health public to speak about it, unless you want me to speak about the issue of pollution and kidney disease, which is really new in the in the field,
especially the effects for the kidneys. That's why we are ensuring that such awareness is raised through our show.
Because as far as we know, we know the pollution and the effect on the lungs and cardiovascular disease, but we know little the pollution and the kidney disease.
Absolutely.
So I agreed on that one. So I went and read some of these, and I came today just to share information with you.
Absolutely. Me reading, about the segments and going into more details, I was surprised that pollution affects the kidneys. So I just want to know and explain that to our viewers from your point of view. Over time, how do the pollutions get affected, the kidneys get affected by pollution?
Now, first of all, I would like to define what is pollution. That's important. When we say pollution of the air or pollution of the sea or whatever it is, I will say it is a contamination of a particular matter of different sizes, which could be nitrogen, ozone, something called PM, that is particular matter, very small, mixed with solvents like the nitrous oxide or nitrous oxidase even, and ozone. These are particular matter. They found it to be very harm in the air as well in the water and the soil. And these can harm not only the human being, it can also harm the plants and animals.
Absolutely.
So that's important to know, because we will be talking about what's called PM. PM means particulate matter. Okay? Your question.
It's how does the pollution, over at the end, how does it affect the kidneys? What happens to the kidneys?
Well, the things which came on recently and involved in kidney disease is 5 studies came. 5 studies. One of them actually in Taipei, Taiwan. The second one, or 2 studies in the state, and one in China and one in UK. That's to prove actually that the air pollution or the environmental pollution can affect the kidneys. They found in Taipei, for instance, they examined almost 8,000 people living in the center of the town, and they were exposed by what's called particulate matter, and the size of that particulate matter is 2.5 micrometer. That's particulate matter, and they found that these patients, they have actually kidney function reduced by 1% depending on how much they are exposed to this matter. So that was first one. They found in 8,000 patients. The second one was on Boston.
Okay.
In UK, sorry, in the state. And what they found there, and probably this is the answer of one of your question as well, when I think said what is the effect on age and so on.
Yes.
What they found is, and that's very interesting, that there was a group of patients live in hospital, elderly who had some sort of stroke. And they were living actually near the Broadway.
Okay.
And what they found that these people who are close to the Broadway, something like between 0 to 50 meters, and those who live 50 to 100 meters, 100 to 200, 200 to 400, up to 1,000. Well, they found that actually those people who are living very near to the Broadway, they found them that they have a kidney or chronic kidney disease.
Higher percentage.
Absolutely. In 4 years' time, their GFR or the kidney function reduced by 5%.
Wow.
This is the second very important study. The third one, actually, again in the state.
Yes.
In the state, actually, they put an effort on what is called U.S. veterans. They were about 2.5 million. These studies are all big studies. I mean, they are important.
Yes.
They are not small studies which are valueless. They are valuable studies.
Of course.
What they found in these, when they were followed longitudinally, so up to 8.5 years.
Yes.
So they have baseline of their kidney function, and 8.5 years, they check their kidney function again.
Yes.
And they were monitoring this particulate matter or the pollutional stuff which is in the air by two sources. That is the NASA itself, and the second one which is called EPA, that is Environmental Protective Agency.
Yes.
So the study was absolutely good one. The method, they were good and everything. What they found in this study, among those 2.5 million, that 45,000 of those people, they went into stage 3 or 4 kidney disease, which is very advanced.
Yes.
And 2,500, they went almost into dialysis, kidney dialysis. So this is another indicator of the seriousness of this pollution in the air. The fourth study, they did it in UK, in an area called Runcorn. Runcorn is an industrial town.
Yes.
And industrial town, it means people are living just near the industry.
Yes.
So they found that those people, they have very high mortality related to kidney disease. And then they found out that it is related to the industrial work or the factory itself. And the fifth one, actually, it was done in China. But this time, the total population is very high. It's almost, they did, it's millions, but what they did 171,000 kidney biopsy.
Yes.
Kidney biopsy.
Yes.
In 893 hospital or centers in 232 towns. What they found actually surprising information, and that's what made me surprised 3 months ago.
Yes.
That what they found that the particulate matter in the serum was high, and it does correlate with the finding in the kidney biopsy.
Yes.
What they found is these patients, they have something called membranous glomerulonephritis. In Arabic, they call it التهاب الكبيبات, which is very serious.
Yes.
And we never knew about this except recently.
Yes.
So these 5 studies actually, it does tell us that air pollution has an effect on the kidney disease.
Absolutely. Going back to the percentages, doctor, do we have a high percentage when it comes to kidney diseases in the region, and why?
Relation to what? Pollution?
In general.
In general?
Yes. So in our region, is kidney disease high?
No, it goes with international standards. If we look to the number of patients in dialysis, it's almost same as in the state or some other European country. It's just the same. But because it's a small country, so we
So
get
it
panic, and but it's almost similar.
So what's the reason behind it? How can a person,
The common, you mean the reason or the cause of
Yes.
this? Yeah, the main reason is diabetes, of course. Type 2 diabetes and
Yes.
hypertension are the two main reasons that the people on dialysis. Of course, other causes like chronic glomerulonephritis, chronic pyelonephritis, some inherited disorder like polycystic kidney disease, renal stones also is one of the causes,
Yes.
but diabetes in the top. If you go
And-
to any dialysis unit,
Yes.
ask about diabetes, you will say more than half they are diabetic.
So how can a patient, who has a chronic disease can avoid the kidney disease? What can they do?
Prevention. Prevention, because in diabetic patients, once the diabetic patient start having some protein in the urine, I will say it is too late to have medicine. I don't want him to lose hope. Of course, we can delay it, delay the progression of his
Yes.
kidney disease or whatever
So
it
do you
is.
think, doctor, patients don't have enough awareness when it comes to their nutritional side of this?
Absolutely, yes. There is lack of awareness.
And how can we
That's it.
help to spread this awareness when it comes?
Media, education. Okay, we have to spend time with patients.
Absolutely.
We have to use the paper. It's personal awareness. It is media awareness. It's everywhere. Yes.
Doctor, does kidney diseases affect patients differently based on their gender and age?
If it is related to pollution, yes, it does. According to the
How?
papers, we don't know, but according to this new review which came on last year, that is 2019, from Turkey, they found that the actually children and the women are more prone to get kidney disease related to pollution. How, I don't know, as well as elderly. I can hypothesize these things, that the children, they have small kidneys, so they don't have much reserve.
Yes.
Whereas the elderly, same thing. The
Yes.
elderly already, some of his reserve is gone. So if kidney are hit by some of this particulate matter, of course he is going to be in a bad shape.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, there is a difference.
When we talk, doctor, about pollution and kidney diseases, what is your advice? How can we be safe and stay away as much as we can from kidney diseases while we live in a polluted area?
Yeah, I was talking to your colleague just now. I think the online, you can get that one in Google, and I'll advise the viewers to go online and to get or to read the environmental pollution in the Kingdom of Bahrain. In the Kingdom of Bahrain, they put all the all the
Details.
problems in details, and the option and action. It's already there regarding water,
Okay.
regarding the water plants, of
And
course,
metal pollution
industrial, absolutely
in water.
industrial, regarding the factories, regarding the even industrial, which we see in Bahrain.
Yes.
You can see
Yes.
it's almost in the town.
Yes.
I mean, very close to houses, so this is not accepted. It's mentioned there. I'm not bringing it from my own
Yes.
this one, but it is already mentioned there. The other thing which is very important they mention in this report, since couple of years, they gave a lot of licensing for light industries, like aluminium doors, whatever it is, and these have been inside the urban areas, in the side towns where the people actually live. That can't be.
Yes.
This is very serious,
Yes.
very serious. So what they recommend in that report, which is not a secret, confidential, anyone can read it. What they recommend, they should withhold all the licensing, and they should investigate and stop this thing to happen inside the town or inside the cities or inside
Yes.
the urban area.
Absolutely. Thank you, doctor, for being here with us. But before we wrap the segment, I would like to hear any advice you have for our viewers.
But my viewers, the majority are doctors, so they know how to take care of themselves. But what I'm saying, let them do what the Japanese do, and maybe you have seen it yourself. Like today, there is windy today.
Yes.
And that's what brought this particulate matter with asthma, with kidney disease, everything.
Suffering from
You can
that.
see yourself today. I think mask is very important in this situation.
Yes.
People who has got bronchial asthma or bronchial disease or lung disease, they should stay at home.
Yes.
Okay, they should stay at home and be
Yes.
safety there.
Yes. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being here with us.
Thank
you.
you.
Viewers, don't go away. We'll be right back for more. Isaac is a global platform for young people to explore and develop their leadership potential. They are a non-political, independent, not-for-profit organization run by students and recent graduates of institutions of higher education. Its members are interested in world issues, leadership, and management. Isaac are evident in the Kingdom of Bahrain and have brought forth a lot of positivity through their organization. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this report.
Isaac are a youth leadership movement. They are passionately driven by one cause: peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. They hope to change the world one person and one internship at a time. To this date, over 40,000 young people around the world had participated in a leadership development experience. In 2010, Isaac crosses 10,000 experiences delivered in 1 year alone for the first time. By now, over 230,000 experiences have been provided, all facilitated by youth for youth. The relevance and contribution of Isaac is clearer than ever. In sum, Isaac is a global network of people that simply believe that youth leadership is not an option, but a responsibility. Isaac are evident in Bahrain. They are focused in shaping the ideologies of the youth. Let's watch how Sarah and Hussein implement this within their roles in Isaac.
Joining us here in the studio is Hussein Al-Musawi and Sarah Al-Sayed to talk more about Isaac. Hello and welcome to our studio.
Hello, thank you for having us.
How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Good, alhamdulillah.
Great. How was December with you guys with the celebrations?
Very
Oh.
eventful.
Yeah?
Very
The
eventful.
roads were like
A lot of things happening in Bahrain.
A lot to
Definitely.
celebrate. A
Yes,
lot to be happy for.
absolutely.
Ending the year really well.
Yes, absolutely. So can you tell us more about Isaac, the idea behind it?
Well, Isaac is basically the world's largest youth-run organization. It is present in over 121 countries, and what it focuses on building leadership through team experiences and cross-cultural exchange as well. And it really puts you in that challenging environment in order for you to gain that practical experience.
Yes.
So this is, I would say, the best way to describe what Isaac is and what does it do.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like to add on that?
I think he covered it in
Yeah.
a nutshell.
I mean, these soft skills are important for students, especially when they graduate and they go, they start working, just like you mentioned, management and team playing, all of that. I want to know more about your roles in Isaac.
So I'm on the national team for Isaac. So I'm the national director for business development. So I'm in charge on a national level to make sure that all of our operations run in an optimized way and make sure that we have partnerships to help impact as many people and groups and areas of Bahrain as possible.
And I think from my case as well, not necessarily on the national team, but then I am responsible of, I would say the title is president of one of the local chapters. It's a bit different, maybe focuses a bit more on the university that we have, focuses a bit of the on-ground work as well, as that these students are stakeholders and these are the students that we actually send and receive, and
Yes.
these are the journeys that we facilitate.
Absolutely. And how many roles are there in Isaac?
There are a lot. You can be on if you're in a local chapter, you can be a member, a middle manager, or team leader, a vice president or a president. And then on the national level, it really depends on how large of a scale of operations we run. At the moment, we're 9 people, including the member committee president who is in charge nationally. He's like the national president of Isaac in Bahrain. But there's also roles for people who are alumni if they want to continue in Isaac, but maybe not on a constant base. And we also have our board of directors who also help us in more of legal stances because we're an NGO, we're registered on the Ministry of Social Development.
Absolutely. And how can you be a member? How can you be an ISACer?
Well, funny you say that actually. The way it works is we basically run recruitment. We run it twice a year. Our next recruitment is actually happening in a few days. And very simple procedures, not actually that complicated. We open registration. The youth have the choice to join in. They go through an interview, and then if you get accepted, you go through this induction where you get to know what you're going to do on the entity. And basically, that's sort of how the recruitment process would usually go by.
Yeah, but you talked about, before going on here, you talked about the age as well, age factor. So what's the minimum and the maximum age to join ISAC?
Well, it is from minimum from 18 years old till maximum of 30 years old.
Oh, okay.
So this is sort of like the age range that we accept because we are sort of focusing strictly on the youth.
Okay, great. So can you talk to us more about the impact ISAC has on both international and national levels?
I mean, on a national level, basically us, we deal with the youth directly. So the impact that is for me personally, I would say that ISAC does really provide you the opportunity for you to come here, hone your skills, really get new skills as well, have the space where you can practice, develop yourself.
As well.
Definitely. We also have projects where we bring externals into the country as well. We focus on the issues that are dealing with Bahrain for them, either issues with the SDGs that are relating as well for them to come and impact, as well as another national level impact I would say is that Bahrain's 2030 vision to actually diversify its economic to more of competitive entrepreneur side. Through our products as well, we shape the youth in order to support the Bahrain 2030 vision. So this is sort of the impact that we have on a national level.
And at an international level, ISAC is the world's largest youth-led organization. I'm not saying that, I'm not hyping it up. It really is. And we're run in every country in the world. And basically, we empower youth to go out of their comfort zones. And for example, you have big companies such as Hurksvarna and Electrolux, even Apple, Microsoft. All of these people now are partnering with ISAC because they really want to get youth involved in how their companies run. And even outside of companies, the UN is one of our international partners. When the UN set the SDG Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, ISAC was commissioned in making sure that youth take responsibility. And actually we have Youth for Global Goals. That is an ISAC responsibility. Anything to do with youth and achieving Sustainable Development Goals is an ISAC thing, and that's what we are responsible for doing. We are sending people from all over the world. We are having people from Bahrain go abroad into all countries like Morocco, Algeria, Ukraine, China, and they're really dedicating their time. And also we're giving people a chance to see that youth really make a difference in our society, not just here, but everywhere.
Yes.
And a lot of countries are really, really embracing that.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very valid point. And it leads to my next question. Do you think it's important that ISAC is led by youth? Do you think it's an important factor for it to succeed?
I mean, definitely, because these youth currently right now that are university students or that are youth between the ages of 18 and in their 20s, within the next, let's say, 10 to 30 years, these are going to be people who are going to be leading our world. These are going to be the leaders that hopefully the world is going to be
You should say we are.
Definitely, we are going to be the leaders that the future is going to need. So spaces such as ISAC really give you the opportunity to come in, really take on these challenges, really grow your leadership and give you the space to develop in order for you to meet the demands of what the future needs, in order for you to be the leader that the world requires in the future.
Definitely.
And I think this is why youth is a very, very essential focus,
yes.
Which ISAC is doing very well at.
So your activities do involve different sectors, I assume. So can you tell us about your partnerships, with different companies, different sectors? How does that work?
Yes, so also adding on, connecting that to what he said is that the thing about being run by youth and led by youth is other companies, you say, most people in positions of power and positions of influence are of an older age and they've already had their experience, so they only see things in their direction. Whereas when you have a young person come in, they have a different direction which will lead on to what's happening next. These people have already been there, done that, been there, done that. I don't care about changing my way. I'm just going to continue because I worked this far. And without change, there's no growth. If we don't clash, we don't grow. And so even when we're working with other sectors, so for example, ISAC in Bahrain has worked in the past with the Ministry of Youth and Sport, which is a governmental entity, to run the world's largest lesson. And we had young people from all over the world come in and help deliver educational spaces for people in education in Bahrain. And then we also work with the private sector. A lot of companies that we work for, they really want our kind of idea of, for example, how to achieve their CSR. They don't know, like they have their mandates in, you know, whether it's women.
But they need fresh eyes to
Yeah, they
lead
need fresh
that.
eyes how to implement that, because
Yeah.
for them, they only know like the old way, oh, we used to give money and that's like, here's a
Definitely.
charity grant. But no, there's actually actions that can be taken. There is an outcome, a benefit to society that you can measure, that you can see
Yes.
and really feel.
So it is going to be a learning curve as well for the
Yes.
you know employees or whoever is involved in the process, not just like you said, giving away money and the
it's like, oh, I'm done.
charity will take care of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we try to get as many people involved in our activities, whether it's young people going on exchange programs or other people receiving the impact that we have through our exchange programs. Like when we have people, for example, coming for our volunteering projects in Bahrain, coming from abroad to do that. Right now we're running a women empowerment one. We're having people train women from many backgrounds, whether they're old or young. They're being impacted through Isaac. They're being impacted, taking skills, even if they're like in their 40s, they're getting lessons learned from a young person who's in their 20s. It's fine. And they learn.
It's all about exchanging experiences
Yeah.
and just you know gaining as much as you can from the other person. How large is the team in Bahrain?
Well, we are roughly around, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around 150 members we have currently within the entity in Isaac and Bahrain.
And it could go.
Yes, so like on a yearly basis, our average is 150. Sometimes we reach 200.
Okay.
I think our peak was 250 a few years back. But you know, young people, they go on, they move on. And
Yes.
as I said, Isaac is from age 18 to 30. A lot of people stay for a long time, but then when they hit that point, they become an alumni and then they move on. But it's also open for more people coming in.
Absolutely.
So it's always
and
growing.
where can we find you? Where can you know students find you?
Well, we have our Instagram page. I think this is like one of the easiest ways you can find us. Isaac and Bahrain. This is sort of the channel that we use to really talk to the youth, really show them what we're doing. So Isaac and Bahrain Instagram, I think, would be the most accessible channel.
Great. And do you guys have any last words before we wrap up the segment?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say like, I mean, I've graduated already. I finished my master's degree a few years ago, and even though like I'm a graduate and like I have a job and stuff, I think the importance of Isaac, and I really hope, I want to put emphasis on this, and I want people to take this into heart, is that a lot of young people don't get that experience on how to fail. And I say that because when you're in a business, when you're like, you cannot handle something going wrong. This is my job. If I get it wrong, I'm going to get fired. When you're volunteering, you're doing something because you want to. If something goes wrong, it's fine. Like in Isaac, things go wrong all the time. It's just about having that confidence to pick yourself back up and go through challenging experiences.
Absolutely.
And I have learned so much more in my years in Isaac than I did in my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. In 1 year, I learned more than probably my dad did in his PhD career and his whole job. And I really feel that, and I take that to heart, because it gives you the opportunity to do what you want to do. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's fine. It's not the end of the
You
world.
can learn from it.
And yeah, it's really a learning experience. And I really encourage everyone, anyone, to get involved with us, because it's super important to get this kind of experience.
Absolutely. Would you like to add?
Definitely. Well, just following up on what she said, the experience that you gain, honestly, it's filled with so many learnings. It really grows you personally and professionally. And a message to anyone who's watching, like I said, recruitment's opening in January in a few days. This is their choice for them to join in as well. Be part of this experience, grow themselves, whether personally, professionally, really be interested in what they want to do voluntarily or even in their major as well. And hopefully we'll be seeing them soon.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for being here, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Viewers, don't go away. We'll be right back for more. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. What if we told you that your candle can light up the life of an orphan or a person in need? Candle of Hope can help you to do it, an environmental charity initiative that helps finance many projects and other charity organizations by recycling candles. Let's watch the report. Today with us in the studio is Ms. Seema Haqiqi, the founder of Candle of Hope Initiative. Hello and welcome to Bahrain Today.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to meet someone who is giving back to the community, and I always get inspired about what they do and how they find the time to give back. So tell me, how did you come up with this idea?
It started with a message. A friend someone who later became a friend of mine, she contacted me and said that I have some candles that we don't need anymore. Could you take them and use them in your work? And since I don't use recycled wax in my work, I only use raw wax. I apologized and I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But why don't we do something else? Why don't we collect more candles from more people, recycle them, and then sell them for charity?
Okay.
And she liked the idea, and this is how we both started it.
And you started this back in 2018.
18, yes.
Just like you mentioned, and you chose a cause to link to this initiative. Can you tell us more about that?
We chose to give our the proceeds from the recycled candles completely 100% to projects dedicated for helping orphans in Bahrain.
Yes. And why did you choose that cause in particular?
Well, there is it's just something personal.
Yes.
It's very touchy, and I feel that I could relate to it because as a mother, I can't see a child who's in need and I'm not able to help. So being a mother would give me the drive to do that.
Absolutely. I always see initiatives that are linked to us on a personal level going further, and we try to make them work because you can kind of feel how the other party is feeling. So you want to give back to the communities. So tell me, how does the process work? So how do we be part of this? So if I have candles, I bring them to you. What do you do with them? How is the process?
Okay. Let me give you a bit of background of what we did in the past year or so. We started collecting candles from people through different methods. One, we were putting collection boxes in large companies and organizations like Gulf Air, Betelco, Economic Development Board.
Yes.
And also some financial institutions, private schools, universities, wherever there are large crowds of people where they can donate their candles, because they do have it at home, but it's hard to bring in, people won't walk the extra mile to come and
so
bring
you go
the candles.
to them.
We went to them, we put these boxes, and they donated their candles. So we collected a very large number of candles, and it was over 17,000 candles.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
And what is the step after collecting candles?
We divided them into different sections. Pillar candles, container candles, which come in glasses and cups, and tea light candles. Because the type of wax used in each kind of these are different. So we have to put them separately, and then in each section we divided them by color. We sorted them by color. Then we started the cleaning and breaking stage.
Yes.
And then was the final thing, which is making the actual candles.
And do you do it by yourself, or do you have volunteers for it? Do you have a team for it, or do you sort of plan activities to get these candles reassembled?
I do have a group of permanent volunteers, and we do also get some help from other volunteer groups who are helping in different projects in Bahrain. These people come and help us when we have events, or when we have an activity, or we have recycling day, for example. And there's a lot of help that is needed because the quantity that we have is very large.
Yes.
It's over 1.5 tons
Wow.
of
That's
wax.
a lot. Yes.
And imagine if this was wasted,
Yes.
if this is thrown away, how much harm would it do to the environment?
Absolutely. And instead, you've turned that to something that gives back to the community.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So the project has two main purposes. One is to help in the environmental protection side by explaining to people what is the harm of the wax that they are throwing away.
Yes.
It could harm the soil. It could harm the water. It could harm the stray animals, the birds.
Yes.
So we are trying to explain to people why not to throw them away, and instead bring them to us, donate them, and we will recycle them, and other people can benefit out of them.
Absolutely. We have some samples here with us in the studio that you've brought. Can you tell us about these candles?
Okay, we have used different techniques. I selected some techniques which are simple to teach the volunteers, because they come with no background in candle making at
absolutely.
all, and some of them they're even not experienced in arts and crafts. But everybody who joined us, they just loved making candles and being part of it.
Yes.
So this is a chunk candle. We put pieces of broken candle.
Yeah, you can
in
take it so we can show the viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pieces are candles as well. So it's all made of candle.
This is two colors.
You can raise it a bit higher. Yeah.
Okay. These are two colors. We broke one candle, or maybe more, into smaller chunks, and we put it in a mold. Then we added the melted pink wax, and we poured it in the mold.
Okay.
It's very simple,
but it's beautiful. The result is beautiful.
Yes, and we also use the mold that we used is also recycling. We have recycled the milk and juice paper containers.
Amazing.
And we are using them to make these candles.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it looks like a juice or something.
Yes.
It's very nice. And what about the blocks?
These
Yes.
blocks, okay. We have divided part of our wax into sections for ready-made candles and a section for candle making activity, and the third section is for making blocks of wax where people can buy them and make their own candles at home.
Okay.
Some people, especially expatriates, they do have experience in candle making, whether it's a professional level or as a hobby.
Yeah.
They do like making their own candles, so they can have these and make their own candles
And these
at
are
home.
as well recycled.
Yes.
So everything on this table is recycled.
Is recycled.
I see some pieces that look a bit more fun, like small cupcakes or very colorful. And you were talking to me about some activities that you organize that relate to these candles. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, we do the preparation process in advance, and then when people come to the event, they can make their own candle in a very simple way, which is not time consuming. It takes only a few minutes to make, and it's fun, and they walk away with their own candle.
They can do this with their kids as well, so it's an activity that families can have.
Yes, it's suitable for both kids and grown-ups.
Yes.
And we had a very good feedback from people who helped us make these and who participated in making their own candles.
Wow, amazing. I personally am amazed with what you do, and I'm inspired with what you do, because you found something beautiful in a very nice way to give back to the community. Tell me more about the reactions you got after starting this charity.
At the beginning, people were a bit confused. They didn't know that candles could be recycled. We had to spread awareness. We had to explain to people about this process, that candles can and should be recycled.
Yes.
Some people, they liked it. Some people said, who buys candles?
Yes.
Because not everybody enjoys the the light of a candle, whether it's for decoration or it's for aromatherapy. So we had to explain to them what's the purpose of this project. And when they got it, when they understood the idea, they loved it.
Yes.
And they encouraged us
Their
more.
perception changed. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm going to keep a box at my house now because I love candles. And it's good to know that there is a place where you can take these unfinished candles, let's say, to be recycled for a cause. But where can we find you? How can I communicate to send these candles or bring them to you?
We do have an Instagram account. You can contact us. There's a telephone number, and we can send one of our volunteers to pick them up from you.
Amazing. So you can even collect them.
Yes.
So no hassle for that.
No.
Any future plans with the charity?
Well, at the moment, we are helping similar. We are trying to help other groups to have a similar project in other countries in the region, such as Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. They are at the very beginning, the very early stages of their own project, but we are helping them in the planning stage, and then we will give them training on how to do the recycling, which is of course also free of charge.
Amazing.
We're trying to spread the awareness,
Great.
whether in Bahrain or outside
It's
Bahrain.
amazing to see that you're spearheading this initiative, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Viewers, don't forget, if you have any candles, you know where to take them now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Bringing back Egyptian handicrafts to the market. With us here in the studio is Hiba El-Mansi, owner of AG Heritage, to tell us more about her pieces. Hello and welcome to Bahrain Today.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm great. Thank you.
It's an honor to have you here with these beautiful pieces. But in the beginning, I want to know more about your business. When did it start and why did you start it?
Yes, in the beginning, I want to thank you for inviting me here.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be with you here. And it's all started like 5 years ago. I was helping one of my friends who had a charity organization back in Egypt. She is trying to create job opportunities for the poor ladies, the widows, to support their family. And actually they had a great handmade stuff, so I bring it here. And through this, I found that the Bahrain market appreciates the handmade. And and also because I love the handmade pieces very much and I appreciate it.
Yes.
So I wanted to like revive this sector in the market, and it went.
So we're better to start than Egypt. It's a rich market with, you know,
Yes, exactly.
handmade crafts and pieces, and each piece, as we can see, has its own details. I was
Yes.
telling you off air that I can't find pieces that look alike. Everything is different.
Yes.
And Bahrain is an open market where people love different cultures and they love to, you know, celebrate different cultures. And I believe that you're doing this with the pieces that you have.
Yes, exactly. As you see, each piece is unique and has a different taste than the other. And here, because they are Bahrain full of different nationalities, and I'm seeking the different nationalities, the different generations, because it's like the handmade piece is like a language.
Yes.
So it transfers from one nationality to the other.
Absolutely.
It can tell you about the traditions of your country. It can tell you the history. You can learn through this piece of handmade.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. I couldn't agree more. How long have you been doing this?
5 years now. Yes.
And how do you find the market?
It's amazing. I'm enjoying each and every moment in the journey, and it get me through the two words: the word of the manufacturing this piece, and the word of the happy customer who has this piece, who appreciates the handmade, who feels like this is a unique piece. It's not like a common piece. You find it in any mall or any shop.
Yes.
It has a story behind it.
Absolutely.
So
You were telling me as well that you personally pick each piece and you make sure that it is special and it's telling a story, as we can say. Tell me more about this journey. How do you go and pick the pieces? Where do you find these pieces?
different parts of Egypt, not only in Cairo. You find it like the salt lamps are from Siwa. These are very special and it's very good for the positive energy of the house. And also the glass, this handmade glass, it's very unique. You can see the air bubbles inside it. It's handmade also. So, and for the silver, this is my favorite.
Okay, and this is from which part?
This is of course from Cairo.
Okay, so it's nice to know
Yes,
that each
it's
area
famous.
has a specialty.
Yes, exactly.
And I think it's a nice journey for you as well to go around Egypt.
It's very
and
tiring, but it's interesting. It's you enjoy.
And normally when someone buys a piece, do you tell them the story behind
Yes,
the piece?
exactly. I love to tell the story.
Do they enjoy learning more about it?
Yes. Sometimes I translate if I have like a tray like this one in where we would put it, the blue one.
Yes.
I translate to each one the meaning of the.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can get attached more to the piece.
Yes.
Beautiful. And where can we find you here in Bahrain?
I have my Instagram, EG Heritage. EG stands for Egypt and Heritage for the hidden heritage in my country. And I go to the festivals, the bazaars, the different open days. I like to go everywhere with to get all this to the market.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And do you feel that here in Bahrain people love to learn about different cultures, love to learn about other heritage?
This is what I like here in Bahrain actually, because it's an open market, you know, and you feel you are welcomed in. And Bahrain itself has its hidden treasures as well. So I advise all the people to look for it because you have here like some from the pottery, from the palm tufts, yes, and what do you call it, an-naqda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about taking these to Egypt?
No, it's common between us, so that's why I.
No, I mean, are you
it's
thinking about? That's something maybe for the future plans. Taking some of the Bahraini heritage back to Egypt, so you'll be like
crossing the cultures.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
That would be
is
nice.
great.
So, which one of these is your favorite piece? Let's say.
Actually, they are like one of my kids all. So
each is special in its own way.
Yes. The bags and the leather, the
beautiful.
Carpets.
Yes, they're all beautiful.
Yes, everything.
And who is your main supporter for this business?
My family and friends, of course, are my big supporters, and they are my in my journey. They are the one who support me all the way long, and I want to thank them and thank you for bringing this dream to the TV.
Thank you for being here and sharing this rich culture with us.
And of course, I want to thank all the people who still do the handmade. And now it's difficult for them to do the handmade and teach the new generation about the handmade, because it's you need people to appreciate this.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank everybody who still do the handmade and teaches the new generation of the handmade.
Absolutely. Yeah. Before we wrap up this segment, is there anything that you would like to add?
I would like to add just that wearing a handmade piece or putting a handmade piece in your house is unique, and you will be a part of the journey of manufacturing this handmade.
Absolutely.
And this is a thing that should be cherished.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here with us.
Million thanks. Yes, thank you.
Viewers, don't go away. We'll be right back. And that is all for this evening. We have hereby ended our first season of Bahrain Today. We thank all the guests who were with us, and we would like to thank you, dear viewers, for being loyal to the show and for sharing your talents and your favorite events with our team. We will see you in the next season, hopefully, with some very exciting changes and topics. If you'd like to be with us on the show in its second season, or you have suggestions or questions for us, then contact us on our accounts shown on the screen. Goodbye from me, Fatma Bastigi, my colleague Mohammed Al-Sarraj, our director Ali Al-Mualla, and our hard-working editorial and operations team that made Bahrain Today possible. We appreciate your support, and we will launch season 2 soon. Goodbye for now.